Okay, so unfortunately, last week did not pan out as we had hoped. So unfortunately, we are currently rocking a 1-4 record, and I think unless we manage to win all of the next 4 weeks, then I think playoffs are not happening for us, which is a bit of a disappointment, but I'm okay with that. This is Gen 9. We're still getting used to a lot of things, so we're okay with that. Now, moving on. Today we are battling against the Chessington Chinchous, coached by Night Sky. So I did mention in the last episode that the original coach, Coconut, and his team, the Heavy Booty Dudes, ended up dropping a couple weeks ago. Reason being they're in multiple leagues and just couldn't really balance all of them at once. So they decided to gracefully drop. Night Sky picked up the mantle, and they made a few changes on the team, which we had to adjust to. So, this is the team that they have, and it's a pretty solid team overall. They have Annihilate and Gastrier as their Terra captains. Annihilate is actually pretty scary given how powerful of an attacker it is. Gastrier is actually more terrifying just in the sense of how bulky it is, considering it has base 100 plus HP and both defenses. That means that it's going to be able to tank a lot of hits and deal some pretty good damage, because I believe it has like a 140 attack stat, something like that. So we're definitely going to have to keep that in mind. And then the rest of the team's also pretty good too. Landorus is there as a strong special attacker. Greninja is there, even though it doesn't have access. I believe it doesn't have access to Protean. I'll have to double check that. Okay, so it turns out it actually does have Protean still, which is actually kind of scary. Granted, Protean only works when it only works once, and I believe it only works if Greninja has max health. I'm not entirely sure on that part. But the fact that, even with the fact that it only works once while it's on the field's kind of scary, just because of the fact that it is still a fairly fast Mon, and in fact, looking at the roster, I believe this is their fastest Mon, and with Greninja's wide move pool, that does potentially open the door to a lot of scary opportunities there. And then Skarmory is there as a really good defensive Pokemon, as well as a good rock setter, but we do have a couple ideas in mind just in case. Arcanine is there, which is a bulky fire type, as well as access to Intimidate, which could be kind of scary, given the fact that a lot of my team is physical. Alchemy is there, which I'm not entirely sure what that could do, but we have to keep that in mind. And then Grotle and Raichu and Armaldo are there mostly to pick up the slack, but Raichu is something to pay attention to anyway, especially given the fact that we're usually setting up electric terrain. And Grotle and Armaldo can be surprising. That all said though, this is what I'm expecting them to have for this week's battle. I'm expecting Annihilate to be there mostly as the offensive Juggernaut, and Glastrier being there mostly as the defensive Pokemon, given the fact that with its super high defense stats, Ice typing is kind of rough, but at the same time, with changing it to Terra, it can basically wall out a lot of things depending on what type they switch into. Annihilate really doesn't need the Terra typing, so we have to keep that in mind. And then I expect Landorus, Greninja to be there as backup attackers, basically to help clean up whatever Annihilate doesn't. And then Skarmory and Arcanine there to round out the defensive side of things, and Skarmory potentially setting up some kind of hazards on us. Which, if that happens, we are going to be in a little bit of trouble, but it's whatever it is. Now, this is the team we're bringing. And we are actually going a little bit different from normal here, which I know, you see Coco, you see Lucha, you see Jugulus, and you're like, again? Really? But let me explain the differences here. First off, we have Tapu Koko, which does have pretty much a similar stat spread in terms of speed, but it's actually physical attacking this time around. The reason being that Thunderbolt is there specifically to deal with Skarmory, but Iron Head allows it to handle Glastrier And with its speed, it does allow for potential flinching if we need that. And then U-turn is there just to kind of help pivot if necessary. The terrain extender is here to help expand the electric terrain's length, which can help a lot in terms of Tri-Glide and Ray. And the big notable move is Taunt. Now, the reason we have Taunt here is specifically because if we start with Coco, and he starts with Skarmory, he might just sack Skarmory off and let it go with Stealth Rock or Spikes. And if he does that, Taunt will allow us to stop that from happening. At which point, then they're either going to have to switch out, knowing that we're going to go with a Thunderbolt or something like that. Or they might just go for an attack, see what they can do afterwards. At which point, it does help prevent hazards from coming in, which is kind of important. So with that being said, we have max attack, 64 special attack just to kind of not waste those stats. I did some calcing and basically, unfortunately, even if I put the rest of my stats into special defense, Landorus would still have a 75% chance of one-shotting with Earth Power, so not really worth throwing those stats in there. We're better off just throwing in special attack and letting the side move kick into place. And then we have Ray, our Hawlucha, which has a slight difference in that we still have Acrobatics and we still have Sword Stance, but we have Fire Punch to deal with Skarmory and potentially Glastrier, depending, or, well, Glastrier might or might not, depending on what type they Terra Captain into. And then we have Close Combat. My thing is, I don't want, since we don't have access to screens this time around, I want to hit as hard as possible, as fast as possible. So what that means is, I want to make absolutely sure that Coco-Lucha can work to its best to act as a wall breaker. So Close Combat is going to give the strongest it can give in terms of fighting attack damage without the risk of hurting itself. Acrobatics is there to help just deal a lot of damage as a flying attack. And then we have max attack, 44 speed, which at that level in Adamant Nature, once the Unburn boost kicks off, we are still faster than Hawlucha, or than Greninja that is Choice Scarfed. So that's important. And then the rest we threw into HP just to kind of give it some kind of bulk or survivability, basically. Now, we have Iron Juglius, Tri-Glide kicking in, and this one's actually a little interesting. We have max special attack, max speed, 4 special defense, modest nature. Now, it's rocking the Blunder policy. Now, the reason for this is because we're going to rock Hurricane, which can be pretty strong on its own if it hits something, but with 70 accuracy, there's a chance it'll miss. But Blunder policy will give us a +2 speed, and with the stats working the way they do, Quark Drive will kick in, giving a +1 to special attack. So with that, we can outspeed pretty much anything on their team, and hit as hard as possible with Earth Power, Flash Cannon, and Flamethrower. We're just going full-on coverage here. Dark Pulse would have been nice, but realistically speaking, there isn't anything on his team that Dark deals with better. Like, Earth Power, yeah, is a little weaker against Galarian Slowking, but at the same time, it also hits Raichu, it hits Arcanine. So, I mean, it does a lot better in that regard. But, again, we're focusing on trying to just wall break as much as we can. And the more we hit hard, the better. Then we have Helios, our somewhat bulky Terra Captain here with Heatran. Max HP, max special attack, 8 speed, just because that's actually not there because of a waste, but because we also have Taunt here. And I remember from past experience, Heatran naturally outspeeds Skarmory, but I'm expecting a potential change with Skarmory to give it just enough speed to outspeed an uninvested Heatran to get Stealth Rock up anyway. And if that's the case, we have 8 speed investment points, so that way we could get 2 points of speed higher than that level, so we could still get the Taunt off if we start with Heatran. And then we have Lava Plume, which is there mostly to go for burn damage if necessary over Flamethrower. And then we have Flash Cannon and Earth Power, which again is there mostly for coverage purposes. And then we have Luna, our leftovers holding Cresselia. She has not actually been around in a little while. Max HP, max defense, 8 special attack, with Calm Mind, Shadow Ball, Ice Beam, and Moonblast. Basically typical shenanigans here. And then finally we have Lola, which again has kind of typical shenanigans. Max HP, max defense, 8 special attack, with Calm Mind, Protect, Mystical Fire, Hyper Voice, and the choice, the item of choice being leftovers. So, do I expect us to win? I don't know. I kind of hope we do. And I feel like this is probably our best bet in that regard. So, we're going to go in, we're going to hit him as hard as we can, we're going to hit him as fast as we can, and then hopefully we could have Heatran or someone else come in and just do the cleanup work. So, with that being said, everyone, it's time to get into battle. Let's hope for the best here. Alright, now we're into the battle, and looking at his team, we actually got a little bit wrong, as is usual, admittedly, but let's see. We actually got a couple of the big ones right, though. We see Annihilate, we see Arcanine, and we see Landorus. Alright. No Skarmory, though. That actually surprises me quite a bit. So Annihilate is going to be the Terra Captain here to deal with, so that's good to know. I'm actually a little happy, though, considering the fact that means that we don't have to deal with Glastier's dumbass, but alright. So now we have to figure out who we're starting with. And looking at his team, I kind of feel like Arcanine... I'm thinking either Arcanine or Raichu is going to start us off here. Because Raichu can Volt Switch, which I actually just realized we don't have anything that can absorb a Volt Switch. Yikes. And then we also see Arcanine here as potentially setting up Intimidate. So I think of all of these... Honestly, I kind of like the idea of starting with Top Coco. As long as Night Sky doesn't start with, what's his name, Landorus, then we should be okay. So we're gonna start with Coco. Slowking, okay. I'm a little curious as to what Slowking is planning on doing. Probably. Either gonna be setting something up. Let's actually take a quick peek here to see what we can figure out. Let's assume... Let's see, Sludge Bomb would do a lot, depending on its moveset. Oh wow, Sludge Bomb actually does a lot with almost no investment, no less. Wow. Okay. I don't think I necessarily trust the idea of going for a taunt then. I think we're just gonna U-turn. Now we have to figure out who we want to switch into. And I think the best choice... Unless he's expecting it to go to Earthquake. Oh, actually, wait, he might go to Earthquake now that I think about it. Because Earthquake would do a decent amount to Coco, and it would definitely do a lot to Helios. You know what? No, we're going to take a chance. We're going to go straight into Tri-Clyde. Toxic Spikes. Okay. I'm okay with that. Now we get to go and have some fun. The question now becomes, do we Earth Power right away? Earth Power does about 28% if it's special defense. Well, okay, wait a minute. It's not going to be Assault Vest, though, which is important to pay attention to. So, Earth Power does a lot here. Hurricane actually does roughly the same amount. And it doesn't look like there's anything on his side that would necessarily appreciate that. So, we're going to go Hurricane. Arcanine, okay. Oh! Bam! I did not expect that. I really did not expect the crit. That's... Okay, that's actually a bad thing, though. Number one, I feel bad. And number two, now I don't know what the hell to do here, because... okay. Raichu is in, and Raichu, I'm pretty sure is going to be faster. Thunderbolt is going to fuck us up big time. I don't necessarily want to do that. Especially because I don't want to lose the Blunder. I don't want to lose Triclide this early on. So the question is, what do we want to go for? Do we want to go back to Coco? Man, this is actually going to really suck, because we're either going to take a Pokemon, have a Pokemon get murked pretty hard, or we're going to have a Pokemon get poisoned and hurt kind of badly. Helios, I think, would be our best bet in that regard, but I don't think it's going to help as much here. He might Volt Switch, honestly. Well, if he Volt Switches, then I guess it doesn't really change much of anything here. So we're gonna switch into Cresselia. We're gonna switch into Luna. Okay, there's the Volt Switch. We do recover some health though, so it's not gonna be as bad. And Groddle is in. Interesting. What does Groddle do? Like, what could Groddle even do, actually? We'll assume max... We're gonna assume max HP, max special defense. Careful nature, just because Ice Beam does not do a lot. It could Leech Seed us. That is a thought. If it Leech Seeds, that sucks, but oh well. We're gonna Calm Mind. I want to get at least a buff. There's the Leech Seed. Okay. Now the question is, what is he gonna go into? Okay. My thinking is, it's either Shadow Ball or Ice Beam. Raichu takes pretty decent damage from either one. Ice Beam deals with Groddle, and it deals with Landorus. Shadow Ball deals with Annihilate, and it deals with Slowking. We're gonna Ice Beam. Let's see what he does. Raichu. Okay. That actually did not a lot. Oh my god, are you freaking kidding me? A freeze. Okay. I really did not expect that, and I'm really not happy about that, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, Moonblast does up to 40%. Let's just go with that. Oh, Raichu thawed. Okay, good. They do get the Toxic, though, so that's kind of rough. Toxic, Volt Switch. I don't think he's going to Protect. I think he's going to Volt Switch. We're going to Shadow Ball. Because if he switches back into Groddle, then that's whatever. But Shadow Ball will do a lot to Annihilate and to Slow King, so I'm expecting that. Throttle, okay. Okay, Luna is definitely reaching the point of losing her utility. We're gonna Ice Beam, see what happens. Does a lot, okay. Stealth Rock. Oh, I forgot Geraldo can learn that. Okay. Luna is probably gonna die at this turn, so we're just gonna Ice Beam, deal as much damage as we can. Synthesis. Oh, that's a problem. Okay. This can actually be a... Well, actually, this isn't as bad of a problem as it looks, because Grottle is kind of slow, and we can switch into Helios. Helios does not take a lot from here, and then we can actually Terra. The question is, do we Terra and Lava Plume, or do we Terra and Taunt? No, I don't think he's going to Leech Seed here. We're going to Terra and Lava Plume. Yeah. He stays. Okay, I did not expect that. Okay, so let's see. They have Slow King. I don't know what Slow King can do aside from give us Toxic Poison. We're gonna Earth Power. Shookaberry did very little. Earthquake hurts. Ooh, that was a crit. Honestly, I'm not even gonna complain. He needed that crit. He deserves that crit. We're gonna Earth Power one more time. Well, actually, no. Let's think real quick before we do that. Annihilate doesn't care too much about that regard. Slow King probably will still live it. Honestly, I think we Lava Plume. Let's Lava Plume again, because that deals decent damage everywhere. And we got the burn like I was hoping for, which kind of makes a difference. That is a slack off, which is a slight pain in the ass. But I think we just click Earth Power here. If he switches into Landorus, then so be it. Okay. I feel like he's gonna switch. He's either gonna switch or he's gonna let Slow King drop. Really, I kind of wish we had access to something to help with that, but... We're gonna Lava Plume, because realistically, Earth Power is, like... There's no point in going for Earth Power, considering the fact that he wasn't gonna switch into Raichu. Okay, here's Landorus. This is where this actually gets a bit scary. Actually, this actually can get really scary because I just realized we don't have our Ice Beam Mon anymore. That's a big problem. And this thing's special, so we have to be very mindful of that. It's gonna have Sheer Force. I'm not stupid, I know that. It's probably going to just... I'm convinced it's going to just Earth Power here. Bulldoze. Whoa, wait, what? Okay, I was not expecting Bulldoze of all things. Okay, we switch into Coco. It's gonna get poisoned. And it sucks, but that's whatever. Now the games begin. Bulldoze is actually interesting, because I really was not expecting that. Landorus, assuming Wall Breaker. Oh! It actually has a higher attack than special attack? Oh, I did not notice that. I did not realize that. Okay. and it might be choiced. That actually just occurred to me. It might just be choice. It might actually be choiced. Okay. If it's choice, that's a problem. We're gonna U-turn. It's not choiced. Okay. That's actually that's actually a big thing to pay attention to then. We need to actually, now we need to stop and decide how we're gonna do this. Rock Slide doesn't do enough to kill. Would close combat, or how much does acrobatics do? Is the big question. 53 to 63. Not enough. But Rock Slide would be a 2K knockout. You know what? We have to go for it. We're gonna go for Halucha. Rock Polish. Oh, that's actually very scary. Alright, we're gonna acrobatic. We're still faster. Okay. That's actually not bad. That's actually not bad at all. That means that we can take care of Landorus and we should be okay. Yeah, we're gonna acrobatics here. So unless Annihilate is scarfed, we should be clear. Electric Top. You dumb motherfucker, why did you forget about that? Well, actually, wait. It's gonna be Bulk Up. Electric type. Terra. Close combat at a +1 defense. Does not do enough. Shit. But Rage Fist does a lot. Or Rage Fist does decent, but not enough. Okay. We're gonna Sword Stance. We're gonna Sword Stance, and then we're gonna close combat. What the hell? Wait, what? How did that do so much? Does Rage... Careful nature. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm actually still confused there. How did that do that much? I'm legitimately confused here. But that's fine. Annihilate versus Triclide. Triclide's Earth Power should be enough. Maybe not. You know what? We're gonna take a chance. We're gonna take a chance here. And we're gonna Earth Power. That does not kill. That's fine. Drain Punch does a lot. Doesn't kill. But now, I think we just spam Earth Power. Unless this thing has some kind of... What's it called? Unless this thing has some kind of... priority, I think we win. Yep, okay. Yeah, Night Sky said GG. So, it looks like we have it. But wow, that was definitely an interesting battle, and I definitely need to find out what... Specifically, I need to find out what the hell Rage Fist exactly does, because That confused me right there. But let's go into Earth Power. That was actually a really good... Wait, what? Oh, you dumbass! You dumbass! Triclide was slower, you idiot! Oh, no. I am so stupid. I am so fucking stupid. And if it's got Lightning Rod, we can't actually... I mean, U-turn can hurt, but... Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Okay, yeah, let's you... Oh, he's choice. Okay, I did not expect that. Alright, let's just click Hyper Voice, be done with it, but... And that's... Yeah, that's gonna be the game, but... Wow, I am so stupid. I legitimately could have thrown that match away right there. I'm not even kidding. I can't believe I forgot that Jugulis was slower. And granted, now realizing that Raichu is actually choice doesn't, Wow. Okay. You know what, though? That was a good battle. It was definitely a good bit of back and forth, and definitely a little bit of mind games. So, we're gonna go ahead, let's get into the post-game and see what we can discuss about that. Okay, so that was a bit of a surprise result. Admittedly, I kind of thought that we were gonna struggle on that fight, but honestly, that ended up going a lot different than I was expecting. So, we snuck away with a 2-0 win, and honestly, I don't know how I feel about it, truth be told. We definitely got a lot of hacks on our side. Now, admittedly, the burn I'm not feeling upset about, because that's the reason why we went for Lava Bloom over Flamethrower. Plain and simple. But the crit on the Hurricane absolutely mattered against the Arcanine. And on top of that, the freeze, even though it didn't amount to anything, the freeze on Raichu also is just kind of for hacks. So I do feel a little bit bad in that regard, but we ended up winning in the end, so nothing we can do about it. That's the nature of the game. Looking at the MVP, there's actually two Mons that I was looking at here. It was between Heatran and Iron Jugulis, because both of them managed to knock out 2 Pokemon. And on top of that, both of them actually had a pretty good round in their own right. And in the end, I decided that our MVP was Jugulis, was Triclide. The reason for that is because of twofold. Number one, that lucky Hurricane really made a difference, especially because that we don't know what Arcanine was going to necessarily do, but the Hurricane actually knocking it out made a big impact right off the bat. It definitely swung the momentum in our favor. And admittedly, while it wasn't what I wanted it to do, because I wanted the blunder policy to kick in, the fact of the matter is, it actually still did a lot of good work there. And we also managed to survive that last-minute Drain Punch on the Annihilate, which, realistically speaking, there was a good chance that we would have not survived that. Actually, thinking about it, I think there's a decent chance that if he had gone Rage Fist right there instead, it probably would have finished us off. So, honestly, we definitely lucked out right there, and luckily for us, we managed. Honestly, the good thing about that is we're now at a chance to potentially make the playoffs if we keep winning the next 3 matches. But honestly, I feel like that this was a struggle and a half, so I don't know. But GG to Night Sky. They did a really good job. And considering they were picking up a team that had a losing record to begin with when they did, honestly, they're making good out of what they have, and they're doing fairly well, so I'm okay with that. I'm happy to see that they're doing well, and I hope the next 3 weeks go really well for them as well. So, next week, we are facing off against a team that we actually faced off against last season, albeit a different name. This is the Minnesota Mammothswine, and they are coached by Omnic Fenrir, who is actually currently upgraded to a mod for the league, so congrats to them for that. And they're currently ranked 6th in the division, which is actually a pretty solid level. Keep in mind, we have 16 people in our division, so 6 out of 16 is pretty damn good. And oh boy. Last season, our match against them was really good. It came down to the wire. Hopefully, we have a bit of a better match here in the sense of, well, number one, I want to actually win that one. We lost last time around. But hopefully it goes well for us. So, with that being said, we'll catch you guys next week. I believe we had this match set to release on the same day as the other episode to catch everything up. So, yeah, we'll catch you guys next week with week 6? Or, no, week 7. Week 7. There we go. So, we'll catch you guys next week. Have a good one.